So, welcome to the Summer 2016 Thoughts video. I'm going to do my thoughts about the entire season at the end, and I'm going to talk about the shows I've seen one by one. Add a bit of structure to this, I guess, and it's always good when your phone goes off 3 seconds in. So anyway, starting off with the shows I dropped. I only have one show that I dropped, but it's a bit of a special one because I've never dropped a show as fast as I dropped this one. And this is probably going to annoy a lot of people, Tales of Zestiria. I don't think this was a bad anime from what I saw. I can see it being a very fun anime for lots and lots and lots of people, which is reflected in how much the anime subreddit seemed to enjoy it. It got a lot of attention every week that it came out, but for me, I just couldn't be bothered with it. Maybe when I saw it I had an off day, and maybe if I came back to it now I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But when I watched it, the first episode, I thought it went between a lot of different characters and a lot of different settings quite a lot. I mean, it's very hard for me to understand what was going on. So it just seemed like a mishmash of different settings, different characters, and I couldn't really get invested in what was happening. It was very, very, very pretty. There was a fight scene in some kind of desert storm. Very, very nice looking. I think it had a nice mix of art, animation and CGI, like traditional hand-drawn and CGI, and it really did look stunning. But that doesn't really matter that much when you've got no clue what's happening. So, as a result, I ended up just putting it off because, yeah, I had no clue what was going on. It probably was a pretty good anime in the end, but maybe the first episode was weak, maybe it was just me, I don't know. But, yeah, that one didn't capture some interest for that long. One show that I did watch that also used CGI was Berserk. Though, Berserk was 10 times shitter when it used its CGI. Everyone's shot in Berserk. I did a video on it as well, just shitting on it, because it is, for the most part, steaming pile of dog shit. But I still enjoyed it despite that. It's a bit of a weird one. The pacing is god-awful. Lots of stuff was skipped out, despite it being rushed, which is really, you know, you gotta commend them for that. Actually, no, that was why stuff was skipped out. I don't know what I was saying, but anyway, yeah. Awful pacing, lots of stuff was skipped out. CG was really disgusting. At parts it looked like it was from the PS2 era. Like at the end, when there was these like ooze monsters coming and killing all the townsfolk, it just was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. The thing about doing Berserk is you have to do it justice because the manga is one of the prettiest manga to ever come out. If you look at panels from Berserk, you will notice that so much time and attention and detail's gone into it. It's quite honestly unlike any other piece of work that I've seen, apart from maybe Vagabond, which I'm not really into. JoJo, after part 7, is considered to be really, really, really top-notch stuff. But I'd say JoJo doesn't hold a candle to any of Berserk's artworks, really. It really is in a league of its own. So when you get a half-assed, shitty CG adaptation, which, you know, makes everything look like crap, really doesn't do the series justice. It really sucks if you're a Berserk fan, because you've got in the 1999 series, which had its flaws to be sure, the 2012 series, which good animation, it was CG as well, looked good but rushed. Really, if you watched that for the Golden Age arc, you would have no clue what was. Well, if you watched that to get a feel of the Golden Age arc, you would have found that a lot of stuff was skipped, so you wouldn't get the full experience of it. And then you get this series, which is the Conviction arc and a bit of the Black Swordsman arc. First time I've ever had the Conviction arc animated, and it's one of my favourite arcs. I think it's my favourite arc in Berserk. I'm really torn between this one and I think it's the Falcon of the Millennium Empire arc, which is the next one. Both top tier. I think I prefer the Conviction arc. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it was just probably the worst of the three. The 1999 series and the 2012 series are serviceable enough if you've read the manga. Berserk's a series that you have to read the manga for because no studio can do it right, and I don't get it. Sure, it's pretty, but I don't see the reason why all these companies take on Berserk and just do these really bad adaptations of it. So yeah, 2012 series, 1999 series, go for it. You've seen the manga, you go for it. If you've seen the manga, well, if you've seen the manga and you watch the 2016 series, I think there's going to be a split because it is god awful. A lot of people will be turned off by the fact that this is the adaptation we're getting. But at the same time, while I didn't like it really, for the most part, I can see that it had a lot of flaws. It was really bad. Like, it was a bad anime, but I still enjoyed it despite it being bad. Mostly just because I gotta see some scenes animated. That's really what it comes down to. As bad as it was done, you know, I still enjoyed seeing certain scenes from it, like when Mozgus's henchmen, I guess, his like four cronies or whatever were fighting Guts at once. I enjoyed that scene. I enjoyed Serpico versus Guts, and the atmosphere this anime got. It nailed the atmosphere, the music and atmosphere, 10 out of 10. It was just the animation and the pacing for the episodes was so bad that there was just so much stuff skipped out. And I imagine a lot of people who had this iteration of the Conviction arc as their first experience of said arc, they wouldn't have understood what the hell was happening with like Griffith coming in at the end, emerging. It just didn't make a lot of sense at all, really. So I don't know, if you read the Berserk manga, which you should, maybe, I don't know, maybe look up some clips of this on YouTube or something, instead of, you know, going through, like, you know, this 12 episode series that's mostly just complete shit. Just get to the good parts. Watch, I don't know, the standout bits. Mozgus versus Guts, Serpico versus Guts. And you'll probably still find stuff to enjoy from it, just to see it animated with some pretty kick-ass music, but yeah, not the greatest thing in the world. It's getting a season 2 in 2017, which I've talked about in another video. It's probably going to be just as bad, but I'm still excited. I'm in the camp. It's better than nothing, and I'm excited to see Guts in his Berserker armor and all that. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it is spoilers, but there's some pretty interesting stuff happening in the next arc, which I'll be excited to see, even if it isn't CG. So next up we have Mob Psycho, which is probably anime of the season. I think this is probably the most popular anime of this season, and it is an interesting one because it is very, very weird. I don't think this is a show that would appeal to the masses, mostly because of the art style. It was made by one who did One Punch Man. The thing is, One Punch Man looks awful, and Madhouse got it and made it look amazing. Mob Psycho looks awful. Admittedly, by looking at the newest manga chapters, I'd say it's not awful. It's not standout, but I quite like his style, but it's not good for the most part. Compared to everyone else, it's not very good. And for the anime adaptation, the studio that got it, Studio Bones, didn't drastically change it, but they used its animation to make it really, I don't know, as one of its strengths. Studio Bones, as I said last season video, they're one of my favourite companies when it comes to animation, and this is another reason why, because this is probably one of the best adaptations any manga has ever gotten. They've stayed true to it. It is just the wackiest thing to watch that you'll ever see, really. They've got this amazing mix of colours in it, and alongside their fluid animation style to keep on going on about, like every frame, you know, when there's a fight scene, you know, there's so much shit going on. It's just this explosion of like bizarreness with this weird trippy colour scheme. It really is probably the best Studio Bones has ever been as far as animation goes. One Punch Man was good, no one can deny. The animation in that was pretty top tier. Like, the biggest thing that I'd going for it, the biggest animation moment was right at the end when Saitama fights Boros, and I had that, you know, minute-long clip with the One Punch Man theme in the background, and they're just like, you know, climbing up buildings and stuff, just firing energy beams, and that was probably the highlight. Animation was the highlight of the show. Mob Psycho does that with every fight that's in it. Maybe it's got something to do with the art style being, you know, easier for people to draw. I don't know, but I mean, there was just so much effort, so much top quality from this. It was just unbelievable. And as an actual, you know, story, I think Mob Psycho triumphs over One Punch Man. There's a lot of good character development in this show that One Punch Man didn't have. A lot of people say you can't compare the two. Well, you can, because they've got similarities. One Punch Man, insanely overpowered protagonist. Mob Psycho, insanely overpowered protagonist. They just go about it different ways. One of the strengths of One Punch Man was probably its wacky cast and seeing all the different abilities and personalities. For the most part, I thought they were pretty one-dimensional characters and no real progression to them. In Mob Psycho, maybe because it's a later work, I don't know, but there's a big difference in writing. Mob is a very I know, a very layered character. There's a lot of stuff to him, like why he is like he is, and why he doesn't like use his full powers. The supporting cast as well. Reagan might seem like an asshole, but then you get to see more about him, and he is still an asshole, but he's not as much as an asshole as you might think. Ritsu, he's got this brother complex, and you can see again like why he has it, and you get to see him develop to end up loving his brother again near the end. And it still has the wacky characters that One Punch Man did, you know, with the insane like antagonists thinking they're hot shit before getting absolutely pummeled. I just think this show is, I don't know, maybe one of the best like action style shows I've seen in a long time. It really was genuinely awesome. It's definitely, since I've started watching stuff seasonally, admittedly it's only been like 3 seasons or something, it's probably the best like big show I'd say that I've seen out of everything that's came out, apart from maybe JoJo, but that's because I'm extremely biased, because JoJo is essentially you know, why I live and breathe. Next show, the next big show I guess would be 91 Days. And there seems to be a theme going on at the moment with these kind of, what do you call it, 1920s-esque shows. Because I'm a big fan of that kind of thing because of Bacano, or Bacano, however you want to pronounce it. I absolutely adored Bacano, so every time I see a show that looks vaguely like it, I've got very high hopes. Like Joker Game last season, I think that was set in a different era, but it still had that kind of vibes, which is undeniable, really. Joker Game didn't deliver, but 91 Days is probably the closest thing I've got to that kind of mafia-style anime that I got from Bacano. But it is still different, but settings-wise, I think it nailed it, which is part of the reasons why I did like Bacano. It's to see the sheer badassery that the different mafia organisations had. What I'll say about Mob's 91 Days is, protagonist wasn't very likeable, in all honesty. He was just a lot too moody and brooding for my taste, but that didn't really, I guess that didn't really hinder my experience of this anime that much, because I didn't see this as being a show that was really carried by its cast, like say Kisniver. Kisniver was a show that would be, it was like make or break. If the cast were absolute shit, you weren't going to enjoy it. But this has got such a, 91 Days is such an interesting plot full of twists and turns, you know, who's going to get betrayed next and all this kind of thing, that the cast for the most part really didn't matter. And not to say that the entire cast was bad, apart from the main character, I had no problems with anyone else, really, but I just thought the main character, and I know a lot of people will probably disagree with this, but this is just how I saw him come across, as just being kind of single-minded. Not to say that he didn't have some, you know, stand-up moments in his character, like when he had to shoot Cortio, and at the end, when he was with Nero in the woods and he just started crying. Speaking of the end, it was very open-ended, where it was kind of one of those shows where it's like, you know, leave up to the viewer, you can decide what happens. And I don't like those kind of endings. Because I just get this feeling like if I say main character survived, you know, but maybe he didn't. If I say he died, well, maybe he didn't. I don't know. I'm not one to come up with these really complex, you know, theories why he would or wouldn't have survived. So I'm not really a big fan of that. I like conclusive endings for my show. Cowboy Bebop had a similar kind of ending where it was kind of like, is he alive? Is he dead? But I mean, I thought it was being pretty damn obvious he's dead. And I didn't really mind with Cowboy Bebop if that was the case. But with 91 Days, I've just got this hope, I guess, that, you know, he's gonna travel along with Nero or something and have a jolly old time until they get captured by the mafia or something and end up having a horrible death. Since it was an anime original, I think the pacing was very well done. When it started off, it felt like I was watching something, you know, the pacing was different from other shows. It was always like I was watching a movie or something. It just had this kind of magical feel to it. Some of the episodes were weird, or at least one in particular was kind of episodic, when this bounty hunter or something was chasing after MC and Nero. And he had a dog, I think he had a sombrero as well. That was kind of just like, okay, why is he here? But I enjoyed it anyway. I thought it was going to go and take on some kind of episodic format, which I'd have probably been fine with, but it didn't. And not like I'm against that either, because I really did like the plot of this show quite a bit. A lot of moments have stood out to me, like when Fango got beaten to death, which is really out of nowhere. It really was a show where you couldn't tell what the ending was going to be. And yeah, as far as as far as all these mafia style shows that are out go, even though it's not that many, this one and Baccano are really 10 out of 10, so I can definitely recommend them. Geez, is that all I've watched? I feel like I've watched something else. Otherwise, it'd be a really short season. Mob Psycho, Berserk, 91 Days. I think that's actually it. Well, not entirely, because this is the leftovers of the season, which I might as well talk about. ReZero. Everyone loves ReZero. It really is the biggest thing to come out of anime in a long time. Biggest thing since One Punch Man, I can safely say. I don't think it has the mainstream appeal that One Punch Man had. But this show really delivered for me. It had the psychological aspect that I was wanting from it. I didn't want it to, you know, all this death and stuff to just have no effect on Subaru, and it did. But at the same time, it didn't seem to have that kind of effect. There was a couple episodes where you saw it really damage him, and after that, it didn't seem to be phased by it. But I think, if I have a go at that, that's me wanting them to focus on a certain part of his character far too much. As it isn't a psychological anime, so they don't need to, you know, ham in on it and just keep on going on about like Subaru's just brain dead. You know, Subaru's really in pain. They dealt with it, and then they moved on. So I can't really complain that much. This action scenes were pretty damn awesome in it. The White Whale, I think it was episode 21 and 22. I think that's probably my favourite part of the entire show, to be honest, just because it's an amazing orchestral soundtrack, and just seeing Wilhelm just going absolutely crazy was awesome, really. One thing that annoyed me is I thought the Sin of Sloth thing kind of dragged on a bit, but I guess they were really just trying to get the show to end on this perfect note, because it would have been weird if it ended with like, if it ended on like episode 21 of the Sin of Sloth dying, and then they kind of introduced another one at the end of the series. So I think they really just tried to stretch it out maybe to get that conclusive ending where it would be the Sin of Sloth dying right at the end. But it was just a bit weird to me, because we saw him die like 5 times or something. It was like, oh, he's dead. Oh, we forgot about this. Time to start again. Oh, he's dead now. Oops, this has happened. Time to do it again. It was just, it got a bit much for me at the end, especially for episode 23, when it ended on a cliffhanger of Julius and Subaru fighting. They just talked for so damn long. You didn't get to see if he was dead or not until episode 24, when you know, he came back again as some horrifying monster out of nowhere. But apart from that, you know, that's really the only complaint I have about it. It was really good. Worth a watch. I didn't think it'd be that good. Thought it would be a quite generic kind of thing, but I think that's kind of what it expects you to think when you go into it, and then you see it's very different to what you expect. Not just some generic fantasy where it's like, you know, going out with like 100 different women. I'll link my other video on ReZero in the description, because it's probably got more fleshed out thoughts on that perhaps, but yeah, this is just kind of a summary of what I have said in that video. And then the final video, the final summer leftovers, which is going to be going on for a damn long time, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where we got to see Yoshikage Kira. And oh god, Kira is just amazing. He's probably my favourite JoJo villain. I'm not going to spoil stuff past part 4, because that just flat out isn't fair, but he is just awesome. I've got a big thing about serial killers in anime. Maybe it's because I've got an interest in psychology, forensic psychology, that kind of thing, criminal minds and all that. Not like JoJo's one to really delve into the, you know, the psyche of Kira, but still, just seeing this serial killer just fuck people's day up is really just up my alley in anime. His theme was a bit weird, this like, kind of classical style, but it's also fitting. It's not very over the top as you'd expect from a man like Kira, who wants to ultimately live a quiet life. In some scenes where it's used, I don't think it's very fitting. It seems to be a bit weird, but for the most part, it's pretty spot on. Especially when there's like this pizzicato segment in it, which can really be used in any kind of situation. Whether he's like walking down the road and they use it, it's very fitting, very fitting, very just like casual. But even when it's used in like, when he's like, I don't know, beating the hell out of Koichi, it's very ominous. So it's a theme song that can fit a lot of different situations, which is very fitting for his character. I guess the only problem with part 4 is some episodes aren't very well animated. I'm pretty sure it's because they're sent off to a Korean studio, and I've never noticed a problem with animation in JoJo parts, but that might be because I've only recently become critical of animation in anime. because like I watched the whole of One Piece, didn't notice a single animation problem, but now consistently in shows I'm noticing these small things in characters. So it does seem apart in part 4, whether or not that's a part 4 exclusive thing or not. Is it a budget problem? I said it wasn't originally. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's more of a time constraint problem, which I could see, because they are doing 39 episodes back to back, which is pretty insane. But I think the part 4 art style allows it because it's quite simplistic. For the most part, sure, dodgy animation in a couple episodes, but it doesn't really take away from the show at all. Because if we look at the kind of things we get, we've got the first part of the dice game, I guess, a bit dodgy. Nothing major is done there. We've got the first part of the the Red Hot Chili Pepper fight. Again, nothing major happens there. The only problem is, well, it's not even a real problem. Again, for the first episode that's Kira-centric, it's dodgy. Which is a problem because it's a Kira episode, a main villain episode, so you'd expect top-notch stuff. But then, the episode after that is the best episode JoJo's ever had, in my opinion. It's just gloriously animated throughout. So when they have these, I know, bad animated, poorly done episodes, the next episode is normally over the top 10 out of 10, which I'm fine with. You know, a relaxing, slow episode where nothing happens, just to get an amazing episode next amazingly animated episode next time, I can deal with. I'm fine with that. So next episode we've got the Highway Star fight, which is interesting because the pacing is going to be weird for it. Because part 4 is a bit weird because it seems to go between different things a lot. Like there's these one chapter arcs that are just stuck in the manga to do with Kira's new life. So I always thought the way they managed to implement this in the anime would be a bit weird. So that's why we've got like part 1 of the dice fight, then the next episode is probably going to be the resolution, and then the part of the Highway Star fight, which is very well done, actually, the way they're doing it. So the episode after that, episode 30 perhaps, will be the conclusion of the Highway Star fight. I was worried how they do the pacing. I've worried consistently. Like, for Yoshikage Kira wants to do a quiet life. It was a 2-parter, and I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty bad. That's not right. It's going to have slow pacing. But it didn't, because first episode, okay, it was a bit slow, but not bad pacing, because the majority of the arc was there, and ended on a decent cliffhanger. The next episode had the rest of it, which was very, very well done with Shigechi's death. Then it had the beginning of the sheer heart attack arc, which I didn't see happening, but it was, again, just awesome to see. So they've done a really, really good job, in my opinion, of doing the pacing in this part, which isn't very easy to do, really, because the part is, as I said, very bizarre, I guess, with how its arcs are done. So they've done a really good job there, which makes, me a full what's the word here? I completely believe that David Productions, I'm never going to doubt them again, basically, because they're doing a damn fine job with part 4. I think there was a point I was trying to say before I got into this, but I completely forgot it. But also, in the new opening, which I quite like, I didn't like it to begin with, the Great Days, I was like, wow, what the hell is this? But now I've grown to like it. There's a part 5 teaser. So they're basically going to do part 5. There's no reason they'd put in a teaser for part 5 if they weren't doing it. So I guess they've seen that the sales are pretty decent. Maybe Warner Brothers just really wants to push JoJo for whatever reason, but 30th anniversary of JoJo in 2017, part 5 is one of the most popular parts. We're getting a part 5 anime, which is absolutely amazing. Basically, it's not been announced, but it's going to happen. So yeah, that's that. JoJo's awesome, basically. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, because you're doing yourself a disservice, especially if you like shonen. And I'm really, really happy with how part 4 is turning out. The next upcoming arcs are stuff like Enigma, Highway Star, Who Wants to Live on a Transmission Tower. Awesome, awesome fights. My favourite parts of part 4 are coming up. So starting from next week, it's basically just going to be amazing JoJo episodes, start to finish. So I'm very, very excited for that. So now I've said that, I guess it's my overall thoughts of this season. I'm conflicted, because not including the anime leftovers from the summer leftovers, not the summer leftovers, the spring leftovers, I didn't watch that much. I watched what? Berserk, Mob Psycho 91 Days. Berserk wasn't that good. But then I was left with Mob Psycho, which is awesome. Really, really awesome. And 91 Days, which again is pretty sweet. And compared to last season, I had quite a few shows I was watching. Kisniver, Academia, Bungo Stray Dogs, but none of them were really standout. So I'm left with last season where I watched a lot of, or a decent amount of good shows, and then I'm left with this season where I watched a small amount of excellent shows. I guess it really it can be measured about the same, you know. This season's as good as last season, really, depending on what you really value. Maybe it's quantity over quality for you. I don't know. I can certainly see having a lot of stuff to look forward to every week might be better than just having like one amazing show to look forward to every week. I remember last season, I'm pretty sure I did something most days to watch, and this season it's basically just been Mondays and then Fridays, because that's when Berserk, JoJo and 91 Days was out, which is pretty damn glorious when we've got 3 shows to watch in one day. But yeah, pretty decent season overall. Next season looks like an interesting one. I have really no idea how this season's going to come out. Is it the fall season? A lot of potential. I think I'm watching quite a few shows, more shows than I've ever watched in one season. So we'll see how it turns out. I've done a video about what I'm going to be watching. I think I'm not watching anywhere near as much stuff as I said I was, now that I've looked back at it. But yeah, that's that. 27-minute long video. Wow. Thanks for watching, folks. Sorry if this was not very well made. I like to have a kind of laid back style. Sometimes it works in videos, sometimes it doesn't. I guess this is more of a, I don't know, 50-50 kind of deal with this video. But yeah, I'll see you next video for whatever I'm doing then. See ya.